Taking the back roads. Up on a person, coast to coast.
This is an iHeart podcast.
Lenovo is built for creators who don't wait for inspiration. They chase it. With inventive tech, built-in AI tools, and seamless performance, Lenovo devices powered by Intel Core Ultra processors are designed to bring your wildest ideas to life faster. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Enjoy flexible financing, rewards on every purchase, and free shipping. And students get special offers when you create an account at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish or satin, or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all in the app. Download today.
Barstool Crypto is on Kraken. My crypto is on Kraken. My XRP is on Kraken. I'm part of the XRP army.
Dave Portnoy trusts Kraken with his crypto. So do millions of clients around the world. Ranked best crypto platform of 2025 by Forbes. Download the app today. Get $10 in Bitcoin after your first trade of $10 or more. Just enter code IHEART10 under ad invite code when you sign up.
Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss and is offered to U.S. customers through Hayward Interactive Inc. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, look, we got one play. Everything we work for comes down to this. Quick question. Speaking of workouts, how would you rate your athletic program? Bro, we're in the middle of the state championship. Oh, so like a B+ then. Dude, get out of our huddle. Well, at Homes.com, we leave it all on the field to get you detailed information on local schools. Off the field. Off the field. Copy. All right, go sports. How'd he even get in here? Homes.com. We've done your homework.
Welcome to the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. Now get ready for Strange Things with Joshua P. Warren.
Welcome to our podcast. Please be aware the thoughts and opinions expressed by the host are their thoughts and opinions only and do not reflect those of iHeartMedia, iHeartRadio, Coast to Coast AM, employees of Premier Networks, or their sponsors and associates. We would like to encourage you to do your own research and discover the subject matter for yourself.
Like a wizard of weird. This is Strange Things with Joshua P. Warren.
I am Joshua P. Warren, and each week on this show, I'll be bringing you brand new, mind-blowing content, news, exercises, and weird experiments that you can do at home, and a lot more. On this edition of the show, be careful about accepting gifts. Psychic vampires is a topic I started to talk about back around Christmas time. But then I thought, well, I don't want to say anything that might necessarily put a damper on people receiving their Christmas gifts. Plus, the fact that this is not like the old days of live radio when everything has to be right there on topic at the time. It's a podcast, and in this age, you can listen to it anytime you want. So what I'm going to tell you could really apply to anytime somebody's going to give you a gift, especially holidays, I suppose, when that's common. Could be Valentine's Day or your birthday, Thanksgiving. But anytime somebody's going to give you a gift, this is something that you should take into consideration. Of course, I'm sure that you all know the famous ancient Greek story of the Trojan horse. In Greek mythology, the Trojan horse, which is just a wooden horse, A giant wooden horse was said to have been used by the Greeks during the Trojan War to enter the city of Troy and win the war.
Sounds like a plan.
The Greeks constructed a huge wooden horse at the behest of Odysseus and hid a select force of men inside, including Odysseus himself. The Greeks pretended to sail away, and the Trojans pulled the horse into their city as a victory trophy. But that night, the Greek force crept out of the horse and opened the gates for the rest of the Greek army, which had quietly sailed back under the cover of darkness, and so the Greeks entered and destroyed the city, ending the war. Brilliant strategy. They say that metaphorically now, a Trojan horse has come to mean any trick that causes a target to invite a foe into a securely protected bastion or place. And of course, a malicious computer program that tricks users into willingly running it is also called a Trojan horse, or simply a Trojan. I think that is maybe a good place to start. The idea that sometimes when you receive a gift, it may seem absolutely normal. And by gift, I mean, let me just focus on physical things, because we can expand this into non-physical things as well, like favors. But for now, let me just say, something like a physical gift could be something that you receive that ends up having some strings attached that you don't know about. And this is one of the strategies that I have seen people use throughout my life that I would call a psychic vampire or an energy vampire. So just to sort of, before I get into this, I always like to go and read definitions of things on the internet and see if what I'm about to tell you is matching up here. Wikipedia says a psychic vampire is a creature in folklore said to feed off of the life force of other living creatures. The term can also be used to describe a person who gets increased energy around other people, but leaves those other people exhausted or drained of energy. Of course, it can also just be called an energy vampire, but something that drains your bioenergy, your ki, your life force, your prana, your vitality. They say there is no scientific or medical evidence supporting the existence of this energy they allegedly drain. But if you're like me, you have you don't need some scientist to tell you. You know there are certain people around you that create this effect. And so again, an energy vampire can be used metaphorically to refer to people whose influence on you leaves you feeling exhausted, unfocused, and depressed. And I guess I should mention this because as a part of the article, I can't really dig into this, but it says a related mythological creature is a sexual vampire, which is supposed to feed off of sexual energy. So we're talking especially about creatures like succubi or incubi. I'm sure you know about that. The succubus is some type of a female spirit in folklore that comes to you during the night and does things to you. And then the incubus would be a male spirit that comes to you at night and does things to you. And, the funny thing is, again, this is a family-friendly show, so I would not dig into those topics. If you ever meet me at a bar, though, and we're having a drink and you want me to tell you some stories, I'll be happy to share some stories with you, because I can tell you that over the 30-plus years I've been doing research, I have come across a lot of people who have said that, have told me they've encountered an incubus or a succubus consistently. The incubus is much more prevalent than the succubus based upon the reports that I've gotten. As a matter of fact, my friend Nick Redfern even wrote an article about this sort of aspect of the paranormal many years ago, and he interviewed me for that article. I don't know. I presume it's somewhere out there on the internet if you are interested in looking at that. But this type of thing, the kind of sexual element, it pervades just about every part of the paranormal field, because obviously you've got the succubus and you take your energy. But then also, look at the alien phenomenon. People talk about being abducted by aliens and being probed and violated in certain ways, and then you're having their reproductive organs taken out. Or when it comes to cryptids, there are many, many stories abducting men and women and taking them out to the woods and doing things. So this is a component of the paranormal that is a little uncomfortable to talk about, and some people have wondered if that even has a connection to the psychology of people who are interested in the paranormal. But that's as far as I will go into that topic, because it's really, again, like they're saying, kind of a subdivision, perhaps, of this general idea of the psychic vampire or the energy vampire. So here's what I personally have noticed, because I've worked in media for a long time, and I when it's my time to go on to be in the spotlight, when I'm in front of the camera, I'm in front of the microphone, I try to turn on the energy, turn on the charisma, and I really try to put a personality out there and energize people. And there are people who say when they're around me and people like me, they feel energized. But then there are people who will specifically latch onto you like a parasite, and they take that energy from you in an almost unnatural way. And then I feel so drained. As a matter of fact, often when I go investigate a haunted house, and if you are a person who's done ghost hunts, you know what I mean. If you go out and you investigate certain haunted places, most of them, you feel so drained afterward. Even don't put out a lot of physical energy, even if you didn't stay up all night. There's just something about some of these places that seems to be like a negative space, like a black hole. It's almost like that the entire environment is an energy vampire that's taking your bioenergy. I think there are entire towns that are like that, and there are places on Earth that are just the opposite. This is what we would consider a vortex, I guess. Here on Earth would be a larger form of what we think of as a psychic vampire or an energy vampire. So there is a technique that I've talked about it some before. I'll get back to this in a little bit. There is a technique that I think you can use if you actually want to try out being an energy vampire on somebody. If you need some energy, or let's say you want to drive somebody out of your area, or even if you want to tap into somebody and take their luck. I mean, I'm not recommending that you do this, but I'll get into that strategy later. But first, I want to tell you some of the characteristics that I've noticed about people who just naturally seem to be psychic vampires. They may not even know it. I'm going to go down this list and then think about whether or not you may have any psychic vampires in your life, because as G.I. Joe said, knowing is half the battle. If you know that, if you become aware of it, then maybe you can start with those people, the way you interact with them, the time you spend with them. I'll give you the list of things to think about to determine if someone around you might be a psychic vampire soon. Okay, it's one of those shows. We're going to kind of be maybe a little bit all over the place, but that's because the world is such a strange place, and I can't talk about all of it on this show. For example, one of the things I just mentioned. But if you want to stay in touch with all the free giveaways, go to joshuapwarren.com. There's no period after the P when you type that in. Go sign up for my free and spam-free e-newsletter right there on the homepage. You just scroll down, you'll see the Slimer green letters. Sign up. You put your email address in there, hit submit, boom, you're done. You will instantly receive an automated email from me with some links to some free online goodies that will make your day. I am Joshua P. Warren, and you are listening to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network, and I'll be right back.
Life's messy. We're talking spills, stains, pets, and kids. But with Anabe, you never have to stress about messes again. At WashableSofas.com, discover Anabe Sofas, the only fully machine washable sofas inside and out, starting at just $699. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics. That means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Visit WashableSofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Avoiding your unfinished home projects because you're not sure where to start? Thumbtack knows homes, so you don't have to. Don't know the difference between matte paint finish or satin, or what that clunking sound from your dryer is? With Thumbtack, you don't have to be a home pro. You just have to hire one. You can hire top-rated pros, see price estimates, and read reviews all in the app. Download today.
You don't need $1,000 buy Bitcoin. You just need a plan. Kraken lets you set up recurring buys so you can build your position over time. Invest on your schedule. not the markets. Set it and forget it. Kraken handles the rest. Download Kraken and get $10 in Bitcoin after your first trade of $10 or more. Just enter code IHEART10 under ad invite code when you sign up.
Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Is offered to U.S. customers through Payward Interactive Inc. Terms and conditions apply.
Ugh, come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra light, ultra powerful, and built for serious productivity with Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Oh, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work.
Welcome back to Strange Things on the iHeartRadio and Coast to Coast AM Paranormal Podcast Network. I am your host, the Wizard of Weird, Joshua P. Warren, beaming into your wormhole brain from my studio in Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada, where every day is golden and every night is silver. Agitato Zume. And I have been told a couple times by a couple different people that if you encounter an energy vampire and you're not sure what to do and you just say Agitato Zume, it breaks the spell. They'll leave you alone. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't tried that. And people, they contact me and say, what does that word mean? Why is that the magic word? Well, you have to go back and listen to episode 124 of this show called Strange Things. Episode 124, that show was called A New Magic Word. So let's get back to this concept of the psychic vampire, the energy vampire. Here, first, let me just start with some of the things that I have personally noticed. Some people that you meet are just naturally psychic vampires, especially people who act like they know you better than you know them. And they like to ask you questions all the time and expect you to answer them. So that's, and that can be tricky also when you're in the position that I am in the public eye a little bit more than the average person, because people who listen to me all the time, they feel like they know me, but I may not have a clue who you are. You meet me and so you might be more comfortable meeting me than I am meeting you, because I just don't know you like you know me. But in general, if you are around somebody and you're not sure exactly who that person is, you don't know, but they act like all of a sudden, oh, they're your best friend. That's a red flag that you might have somebody here, because if they're a little too eager to be your buddy, maybe that's because they're going overboard to try to draw you in so they can feed on you. They want your energy. And I want to reiterate, I'm not saying that all psychic vampires are consciously doing this. I would say that most of them are not consciously doing it. It's a personality type. But as a part of this process of trying to be your best friend, they will often try to give you a gift. And I mean, it could just be favors, but again, let's keep this simple. Let's focus on physical gifts. That's the most obvious thing. Because they usually tend to believe subconsciously that when they give you a gift that you now owe them something. Mainly your time and energy. They're not necessarily looking for you to give them a physical gift back. They think that they now have a hook in you, and if you are a good person, you might feel like, well, I guess I do have to hang out with this person a little bit more. Now, this is not to be confused with gifts that are given to you sincerely with friendship and generosity. Because if somebody is a sincere friend or a sincere loved one, and they give you a gift out of friendship or love or generosity, those things should come. If they are truly what they appear to be, they should come with no strings attached. You know, that is charity, that is kindness, that's totally fine, and that is normal to do that. But when the gift seems kind of awkward and out of place, that's when it's just something to think about as a red flag. These vampires, these psychic vampires, they'll also invite you to things that are a bit more personal than make you comfortable. So let's say you've barely known somebody. The next thing you know, they're rushing to have you over to their house, spend the night, or to come meet their relatives or something. Again, it's like they're very exuberant about rushing to snatch you into some kind of a snare and pull them in closer to you. And then often, something I've noticed about psychic vampires is if you do agree to meet with one, a lot of times once you meet with them, they'll spring unexpected things on you. So, for example, when you agree to meet with them, let's say they ask you to meet them at a restaurant or something, well, suddenly they'll say, oh, also, my friend Bob is going to join us. And they'll suddenly have someone there that they didn't tell you about. And I understand that sometimes those things happen accidentally, but that's very discourteous to meet with somebody and not tell that person who all is going to be there if you didn't know that. Because a psychic vampire will do this because if you just think you're meeting with that person and a couple other people, then all of a sudden they, without asking if you're cool with it, they just spring this other person's going to join us. Well, this allows them to sort of gang up on your energy and throw you off guard, which is another part of sort of knocking your energy ajar so they can feed off of it. Now, these are some of the things that I've noticed about psychic vampire behavior. But I got online and I started reading some other things that people were saying could be signs that you have a person in your life who's a psychic vampire. I'm just going to go down this list and read some of them. It says that psychic vampires like to play the victim. I'd like to tell you that you should feel sympathy for them in a way that I guess that's a way of getting you to give them your energy. Once again, their presence makes you strangely lethargic and exhausted. They create unnecessary drama. They are often critical of others. Sometimes they seem very anxious or stressed all the time, again, trying to get your energy. They seem like they're depressed. I need your energy to help me, help me, help me. So they rely on guilt trips. Their thinking will usually be extreme. They tend to blame others for everything, not taking responsibility for their actions. They have a tendency to one-up you. So if you tell them, I learned to play the guitar the other day, and I can play Mary Had a Lamb. That's easy. I learned to do that when I was 5 years old. It's that kind of thing. Somebody who always has to pop you no matter what you say. They dominate conversations. They can be intimidating because they know how to try to manipulate you into giving you coming into their circle and keeping you there. They minimize your problems. So their problems are very, very big, but your problems, it's almost like a sociopathic thing. Whatever, if you're not feeling well, it's no big deal. They don't even care. They may act like a martyr, like they are so great. They have done things that most people wouldn't. They complain all the time. They can be jealous, very jealous. They have no accountability. They bring you down. They exploit your kindness. When you go down this list, and there are others, it sounds a lot like what we would often call passive-aggressive narcissism, doesn't it? Because my basic definition of evil is complete and utter selfishness. So what I mean by that is an evil person says, I don't care about anybody else's feelings or anything else. I'm just going to do whatever I want to do to make me feel good. If I'm Ted Bundy, and it makes me feel good to drag you out of your house by the hair and take you up into the mountains, well, that's what I'm going to do because that's what I want to do, and I don't care how you feel. To me, I think you can reduce evil down to degrees of that. How utterly selfish is someone? And this also is, I think, a direct relationship to the psychic vampire mentality. It starts with taking energy, but then it goes and it becomes more physical, and it gets into other things like taking your material possessions from you, taking your resources from you, and then finally maybe even taking you out and killing you. A true vampire. But when it comes to gifts, I bring this up again because it's one of the tricks that they use. And it's a very easy red flag to spot. So be careful about accepting gifts. Back 20 years ago in 2005, you've heard me talk about the fact that I was on a television show on TLC called Possessed Possessions. It was like an Antiques Roadshow for cursed and haunted items. And I learned a lot doing that show. It aired Halloween night. It was a 2-hour special hosted by James Von Prague. was the guy there who got to measure all of these weird objects that had some attachment, some spiritual attachment. And one of the guys who was an expert there on the matter, he said, you know, if you ever have somebody who wants to give you something really, really badly, and especially if it's something that's it's a deal you can't pass up, or if they're practically giving you something for free, you might want to be worried. It may be because it has some kind of an attachment. So you got to be careful. I'm not saying never take anything. You got to be careful. When we come back, I'm going to tell you more about
Give me one
psychic
second.
vampires.